Hi, I'm Phil Sizer. I'm a specialist in the self-management of chronic pain and the lead trainer from the Pain Association. The boom-bust cycle. The boom-bust cycle is one of the most important issues in pain management. It's a trap that's easy to fall into. And it's a sneaky one because the more we fight, the worse it gets. Over time, pain winds up, fitness drops, and stress rises. It's easy for pain to quickly dominate the whole of life. Chronic pain brings change. It usually means that we can't do what we used to do, but that doesn't stop us trying. It's as though a new speed limit has been imposed with a drop from, say, 70 miles an hour to a new strictly policed 40 miles an hour, or as fast as you like to a lot less. Breaking the new speed limit leads to more pain, limitation, and distress. No one likes that kind of change. It's hard to accept and it's hard to adapt to, especially if you don't want to. So we fight against it. This stirs up lots of emotions. The usual suspects include denial, anger, frustration, guilt, blame, and anxiety. There's often a lot of head scratching going on because people find it hard to understand why their pain seems to be getting out of control. And this all adds considerable stress to the situation. It also feeds it. A boom-bust cycle develops if we repeatedly go from going flat out physically and emotionally to being flat out physically and emotionally. Full on to full off. We keep going until pain forces us to stop, and then we go again as soon as pain lets us. Pain is in charge. It gets into the driving seat of life. The aim of pain management is to regain control and kick pain out of the driving seat. We call it a good day, but a day with less pain isn't usually much fun. It's usually a day of extra hard work, going flat out until pain shouts, "Stop!" This unhelpful behaviour is often driven by a mix of anxieties about having to catch up, justify ourselves, assuage guilt, and feel in control. Lots of shoulds, oughts, and musts kick in and give us a kicking. On a bad day, pain is up and people are forced to rest. But this isn't normally a restful rest. For many, the mind races whilst the body has to stop. In this straitjacket, thoughts often turn to feeling like a failure and thinking about all the things that need doing. Like a good day, it's full of shoulds, oughts, and musts, but they can't be acted on. This causes stress and anxiety, which revs everything up. Unhelpful beliefs about the nature of pain drive the boom-bust cycle. Some people say that they need to fight pain because otherwise it will beat them. Some think that pain is a fixed thing and that whatever they do is irrelevant to what they feel, that they have no effect on it, that pain has a life of its own. Some think that only medicine can fix pain. Some remember no pain, no gain from school or going to the gym. And soldiers in particular might think that pain is weakness leaving the body. This can all push people to keep going, to ignore what they're feeling, to somehow forget and blank out what normally happens, until the nervous system shouts no, rudely reminding us of what we've been trying to ignore. As a graph, the boom-bust cycle looks like this. As you can see, on a good day, people often do as much as they can until they can't. And then they're forced into a stressful rest before they can recover and go again. This cycle sets on repeat, which means that over time people become increasingly worn out, fed up, and wound up. Booms gradually get less and busts get longer. This often leads people to conclude that something very bad is happening, that their condition is getting worse, that something is wearing out or falling off, or apart. There seems to be a few variations on the boom-bust theme. The first is where people experience rising level of pain with activity. The second is where everything seems fine, but then pain hits with a wallop the next day. And the third is a combination of both, where some pain is felt in real time, but then incapacitating pain is felt the next day. Regardless of the order in which things happen, the pattern is the same. Boom, then bust. Full on to full off, on repeat. Pain isn't just about what we physically feel. It's a complex state in which emotional distress and the interactions with the world play a significant role. It means that over time people can become increasingly reactive and emotional about pain. This leads to even more boom-busting and rising levels of distress, which all in its turn turns up pain. That's not just pain as a physical thing, it's pain as a whole person experience, where unpleasant sensations, thoughts, difficult emotions, habits, a lack of sleep, and social interactions all become tangled up into one very difficult knot of experiences that gets called pain. Booming and busting can simply wear us out. It can also make us increasingly more reactive to pain. It might also lead to a wind-up in the central nervous system. It's like a burglar alarm that keeps getting ignored, so it recalibrates to tell its owner sooner. In time, inputs into the system can lead to stronger or quicker responses. It's all the nervous system trying to protect its owner, but it feels like an attack. It can feel like something very bad is happening. The boom-bust cycle isn't a disease. We don't get boom-bustitis. There isn't a clinic, an injection, or a pill. It's a reaction to change. Some might call it a maladaptive response, but it's often what people do when they're normally trying to deal with a problem, fighting the problem until it goes away. But with chronic pain, the rules are different. In another film, we'll look at the topic of pacing, which is all about taming the boom-bust cycle and finding new ways forward.